Hey everybody, it's Gail, and this is episode 56 of Errata-Hate. And this week, I want to show you how you can make this, and do this, and do that, and do all this, and have this nice stiff edge. So this is a helmet for Big Barda, who is one of my favorite comic book characters, and as you can see, it has a lot of sticky up parts because Jack Kirby wants me dead, I assume. And then it's stiff on the edges here because I want to keep the shape as close as I can to a helmet. But there's no wire in the top of the hat. There's no wire in any of the black parts. These pieces don't have wire. I only put the wire where I needed it to kind of stick things up, although I should have put wire here and I didn't. That's going to change next time. So anyway, I did this using floral wire, which you can get at any craft store for like $1.50 for a big cart of it. And what you do, and I'll show you this when I flip to the flip the camera. What you do is you just hold the floral wire. Sorry, I'm picky about my wings here. There we go. You hold the floral wire along with the yarn, and you stitch along with it like you're doing a double strand. Before I flip the camera, please be careful doing this. This wire is not going to cut you. It will poke you. It does poke. It's not going to cut you, but it definitely adds a lot of stress to your hands when you're working with it. So just, take it slow, take it easy, be patient with yourself, be patient with the product. And I think you'll really find it's a fun way to do these 3D projects if you're kind of the type. But what I'm actually going to show you to start is how to work with it in a square, but also in a circle, because the other thing it's great for is the bottom of bags. So, you get those great patterns from market bags, and then they just kind of get longer and longer because you keep putting stuff in them. But if you put a little floral wire down at the bottom in the big circle when you start, it's going to help support itself. So it's a very handy little thing. I don't have a bag right now that is like that. I sold it, so that's why I'm wearing the helmet. But, also because it's rad. Okay, so I'm going to take this off because it's really damn warm. I'm going to flip the camera and we will get to work. I will see you in a minute. Okay, so I've got the camera flipped and I went ahead and I did my first row of what's going to be this sample piece. And I always like doing the first row before I start working with wire because it gives me a nice wide base to work with. It's a little harder to do if you're just working off chains. And then I always like to finish off by dropping the wire before I do the last row so that I have kind of the same level of flexibility at the top and the bottom of whatever I'm working on. So I'm going to put that down for a second, and we're going to talk about the wire. So this is a 30 gauge floral wire, and that means that it's fairly fine. So the bigger the number in wire, the thinner it is. So this is a thinner wire, and I'm choosing to work with it here because it's easier for my hands to work with it as opposed to the 24 gauge I tend to use to get really stiff projects. And it's also the gauge that I learned on, and so I encourage you to also find a 30 gauge yarn wire to sort of practice with to do this. And like I said before, wire is fairly cheap. It's like $2 or $3 for. This is a lot. This has been around a while. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a circle with the wire, and then I am going to fold the end of the wire around the circle so that it doesn't get loose. And I'm doing this because this way, when I start to put it in with the yarn, the end doesn't kind of escape into the project. It'll stay put at the beginning, and that'll make it easier to deal with. So here is my project. Here is my wire. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this wire against the back of my project. And I'm going to pick up my yarn like I usually do, and then I'm going to use the 2 fingers I hold my project with to also hold this wire in place. And so I'm going to come into this first single crochet and make sure I pick up the wire as part of this. And I'm going to pull the yarn through and complete my single crochet. And then I'm going to go to my next single crochet and again, make sure I've got the wire right there where the yarn will cover it. And make another single crochet, and I'm going to work my way across doing that, making sure I'm picking up that wire on every stitch. And by doing this, what you're going to do is build that good foundation of even tension, by having that wire attached to every stitch. And so that's one of the things that makes working with this wire so great, is that, you know, when you're picking it up on every stitch and you've just got it there in the background, it's going to be easier to shape things the way you want them. It means you don't have to worry about fabric stiffener. You don't have to wonder if it's going to hold over time, if like maybe you accidentally throw it in the wash, you know, because the wire is going to be wire. And so it's going to keep doing its thing. And I want to say floral wire is like non-resting, but you know, definitely double check me on that. Oop, hold on, that was a slip stitch, not a single crochet. So let's finish that off correctly. So, okay, so we're finishing off this row. And so we're going to start the next row, and of course we're going to turn. And so we're working with the wire on the front of the project, and what you need to do is just bring it up here right about where it needs to be. And you can kind of manipulate the wire exactly where you need it, so that when you work your first stitch, you've got kind of that bend of the wire captured, and then the rest of the wire is going to lay out correctly where you need it. But also, you know, when you flip it and you're looking at it, it's much easier to line it up and know that it's where you need it to be, etc., and so on. And so I'm only doing a very short project here because I don't want to bore you with my slightly blurry stitches. So my camera cut out because it's an asshole, and I went ahead and just finished the little piece I was going to show you. And so what happened was I finished that second row I was on, and then I did a third row without using the wire. And so what I want to show you now is how to clip the wire off. So the trick to clipping the wire off is that you kind of want to push back on the thing that you made, and then come in and clip as close to it as you can get. And we're going to pretend I'm not using my nice snips for this, but I am. My grandmother is screaming and doesn't know why. So get rid of that. And then now you've got the beginning spot, and it's the same thing. You just kind of push it back a little bit, and you get in nice and close, and you clip that off. And then you just, you stretch what you have over the wire. And you might end up with a little bit of show like this, but you know, this is the back of your work, so who cares? And now that you have this little piece with wire in it, you can do things like twist it, and it will keep its twist, or you can bend it, and it will keep that shape. Or if you just want a nice, flat, hard piece, it's going to keep that shape as well. So like if you make a lot of market bags and you work in circles, this is a really nice way to be able to add a little oomph to that market bag in terms of it being able to take weight without having to track down what in your house is circular and cardboard. So that is how to work with floral wire, kind of 101. And as you can see, you know, I'm messing with it a little more than I probably should, but I'm still on camera, so bear with me. So, you know, as always, if you enjoy what I do here on Errata-Hate, please like, subscribe, share. There's a Ko-Fi, and any money that goes into that goes towards more Errata-Hate, which is also pretty great. And I will see you guys for the next episode, so have a good one.